So this is the top left drawer of the top box, and this piece here goes on my air gun. It just snaps on there, and as it blows it draws more air in here, so this will give you a very soft I don't want to use that word, a very easy removal of stuff on your mill or your lathe or on your work table. These here are aligning screws. They're just made out of grade 8 bolts, tapered, long taper. Knock the hex off. But if you got several holes to line up, you can shove one of these in and line up the first hole, and then it pivots on this pin to line up any other holes. This is a bunch of just aligning bolts, every size from it looks like 1/4 all the way up to 3/8. Here are bolts for installing a transmission. There's coarse thread, fine thread, and you will notice that I always make one longer than the other, so I can get the transmission started on the first bolt, and then using it as a pivot I can raise and lower both to align this hole and also the pilot shaft through the pressure plate. I use those for almost everything, even a set for putting a intake manifold on, so I don't mess up the gaskets as I'm reinstalling those. What else I got? Just a bunch of ball bearings. This is a very special tool I made quite some time ago, and it was so special I just couldn't throw it away. I have no idea what it's for. That's about it. There's another aligning bolt. So yeah, that one's also something special. Let's get on to the next drawer. This drawer here is nothing but engine turning. I keep my Cratex sticks back in here. Here's a mandrel that I made back in the 70s, I guess, for this size Cratex. And then for the smaller Cratex, I made this mandrel. So you can just cut these off to length, shove them in there, and once you get down to where you can't use it anymore, you just take a screw it in there, and it just walks that the old piece out, the unusable piece. And then there are also Cratex that you can get already with a bolt, well, with a nut inside. So if you have the mandrel, you can use those. This is obviously what you see, and I use these kind of spongy pads for different textures of engine turning. I tried this one here, and it's no good at all. It's way too coarse. It just tears up the material, the aluminum. But there are many other sizes and coarseness of the little disc you can use, and also here are some very small ones. And where is it? Eastwood products sells a kit, and in the kit you get these small ones, and which was the other one? I guess it was these that comes in the kit. So if you're wanting to do some engine turning, contact Eastwood. Drawer number 3. This is a piece for using on a Rotex. A Rotex is a punch that has just a series of punch and dies in it, and you can rotate both the top punch and the bottom dies, match those up and make your punch, and then when you try to strip it, sometimes it messes up the hole, but if you slide this into the punch, pick it up, you get a nice clean hole after using a Rotex. This is for straightening saws, primarily putting the set in saw blades, and you can also use it for tipping an edge. Works pretty handy if you want a like a 3/8 back. It has a stop already set. Here is a wrench that I made back when I was racing motorcycles with the DID rims. Came in aluminum, and they used a larger spoke. So when I wanted to true my wheels and tune the spokes, I made that wrench for doing so. And then here are a couple of spanners that I made many years ago. I made these actually when I designed the Webco and the Diamondback bicycle. I made some special nuts to hold the head tube and crank tube in place, and I made these spanners to fit the nut, the conical shaped nut that hold those two pieces in. And that's about it for this drawer. These I just keep so I can modify them if and or when necessary. Next we have the top center drawer of the top box, and these are all lenses for both oxyacetylene and electric welding, stick, TIG, MIG. I have almost every shade that you could think of, and here is a auto darkening lens. These two sets are for just regular goggles like these. Here are two of the original badges that went on the Cobras. They need to be there. High temp RTV. There's Gorilla Snot, gasket maker, black silicone. You older guys probably know what door ease is. That's used on hood latches, trunk latches, door latches, and I've even used it to get the squeal out of fan belts. Bluing, valve grinding compound, silicone gel, tube of distributor cam lubricant from way back when you used to use points in an automobile. Toothpicks for mixing my epoxies, graphite, Loctite, and spares. And a good way to keep your goop from drying out is make sure before you put it away you squeeze out some new fresh goop, and then wipe that off and put masking tape on it. Seal it off real good, and the next time you want to use it, it's ready to go. The third drawer is almost nothing. Electrical tape, Teflon tape, double-sided tape, and these are for checking both your radiator, and if you have a diesel, you can check the stuff in the water so it doesn't create electrolysis in the water. And now for the next, or the last 3 drawers. Everything back in here is for grinders, both bench and handheld, adapters of all types, set of shears with removable jaws, and these can be sharpened in your vise. Very, very nice set, and they're aluminum, so they're very lightweight. A pair of shears. These are excellent for cutting heater hose and everything like that. A very odd drawer, a mirror, all types of feeler gauges, tire pressure gauge, X-Acto knife, all sorts of pieces of soapstone for marking heights on your layout table. There's a neat little piece for working on carburetors and distributors that holds the little screws while you're building them. Next is forceps, scissors, X-Acto knife blades, loops, tweezers, all sorts of stuff. Here's for your tires, Schrader valves and pieces to extract them. And these are all Allen wrenches, fractional, metric, a combination set. These are almost a complete set of both metric and fractional. All of the black ones are fractional, the silver ones are metric. So if I don't like using these a bunch, but if I need a ball end, they're handy. The large Allen wrenches, mid-size Allen wrenches, small Allen wrenches. This one is for adjusting the flyweights on a enduro cart clutch. So there you have the last 3 drawers. Now let's get on to the screwdrivers, pliers, and wrenches.